bought another one of these. Brought it.
Did you? You've spent some money, have you?
Just so we can have it for the guests, rather than having overhead having it.
Yeah, nice, yeah.
It's like us.
Nice.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Right. I don't know if I feel like there needs to be like some kind of ritual before I start. I always feel like once we get going, we're okay. But at this point, I'm a bit like,
yeah.
Hold on, let's just check. It's recording. Yeah, all the I think they're on.
Yeah,
is that recording?
Yeah, that one's recording. That one's recording. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, to anybody listening on Spotify or Apple and not watching on YouTube, we're drinking fizz at what time is it, Igor?
It's 2:30.
2:30 on a Tuesday.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Winning at life.
But yeah, we're just celebrating.
Why are we drinking fizz, Igor, at 2:30 on a Tuesday?
We're celebrating Merla joining the team.
We are, yeah.
Yeah. And
Dead exciting.
Yeah, it's really good. Really, really good. She's going to be taking care of things that we don't want to take care of.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
I think we've realised already that there is potential in what we're doing here. We believe in it, but in order for it to grow, I said this to you the other day actually. We've had to listen to the guests that we've already had on our show.
Yeah, that's it.
And the bit that stood out to me, or one of the points, was Ben saying, when you take on an apprentice, you do have to put time in. You have to put time and effort into that person to get them up to speed. But once you get them up to speed, what do you get?
You get time.
Get time back.
Yeah.
And in order for this to grow, we've got to start getting it out to more people. And in order to do that, we can't keep doing everything. We're not struggling to keep up with it. We're keeping up with it, but we know that there's more to go and do.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
And yeah, I'm excited.
It's a massive opportunity. It really, really is. And yeah, we're going all in. So yeah, you, the audience, better be appreciating it.
Yeah, God. Ungrateful sods.
We love you, really.
No, we do. We do. But yeah, Merla has got a background in marketing and social media. And I'm just, do you know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about not just getting her up to speed with what we're doing, but her bringing her ideas to the table as well and becoming part of the team and going, no, guys, this is what we're going to do. And I was going, okay.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
To the point that she gets trained up that she becomes the boss. She's the one actually telling us,
bring it on.
This is what works, not that.
Bring it on.
So yeah, come on, Igor. Come on, Sam.
So excited. So excited.
That's amazing. But let's
Thanks
jump
for bringing
in.
the fizz.
Well, now you're welcome.
And the strawberries as well.
I just thought, let's just bring the vibes.
I feel a bit more relaxed now.
Good.
So I'm good.
So
do you get pre-match nerves?
What?
Pre-match nerves.
Pre-match nerves. It depends what the match is.
What, the podcast?
No.
Do we feel all right?
Yes, definitely. Especially if it's because it's with you. Maybe if it is with a guest, and if it is a guest that you are taking ownership, because this is what we tend to do sometimes.
Yeah.
One of us takes ownership for steering the conversation, and the other one chips in.
Talks more?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. But yeah. With those, yes, I do get pre-match nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's nerves. I just feel a bit of expectation. I feel like
not meeting those expectations that you mean.
Yeah. No, I just want to make sure that people are enjoying it and that we're bringing value to people. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit. Yeah, it's still new, isn't it? And I have to remember back to when we would be first shooting weddings. Like I'd go to weddings feeling terrified.
Yeah.
But now I go to weddings and I'm like buzzing.
Exactly.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we're far off that. I feel good. Feel good. And we're talking about weddings today, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it.
So go on then, you paint the background. Because apparently I talk too much.
You're the one who said it yourself.
I'm going to sit here and drink my fizz.
Your inner critic is...
You cue the episode on what we're talking about today. Come on.
Yes. Today we're talking about the highs and lows of destination weddings. I think destination weddings is one of the things that we are very prolific about, the two of us, and absolutely love them. But at the same time, there are cons that people perhaps are not aware of. And yeah, with the age of social media, travel, and just travel in general, and sunshine, and just traveling around, that gets very much glorified, really. So in some ways, we really want to demystify some of those sort of like myths that you see on social media, that it's all highlights, it's all good, it's all hype. And yeah, just get real.
And there are plenty of great things about them. We're not for a second going to knock them.
We got the pros as well.
Drop some knowledge bombs here and just some little experiences that we've picked up along the way, so that, you know, if you're listening to this and you're newish to the industry, or you're kind of looking to, you know, add destination weddings to your brand and your portfolio, then hopefully there's going to be a few things in this episode. We don't know what they are yet, but there are going to be some things in this episode that may be of value, and hopefully that you guys can kind of take away and go, oh yeah, I hadn't have thought of that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because we've learnt a few things.
Yeah, over the past 10 years.
Yeah, over the past 10 years. But yeah, learnt a couple of things the hard way.
Yeah.
But that's life and business, isn't it? So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm intrigued as to what we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
I know we've got a few little bullet points.
Exactly,
things that
it's quite loose in some ways, but again, it's one of those episodes we know what we're talking about. So
yeah, we're going to find out.
Yes, you do.
Believe.
Yes, you do. And that's what gets me excited. It's those sort of episodes that get me excited. It's kind of like the creativity one. So
how did you start in destination weddings?
How did I start in destination weddings?
I know we've talked about it briefly before.
Yes, we did.
Very momentarily, but like, what can you remember your first one? I know that you were confused to which your first one was.
I think I still am. I should have looked it up, shouldn't I?
You should have done before we started the episode. Yeah, honestly.
No, in fact, I do know which one it was.
What was I thinking starting a podcast with you?
But here we are. No, I do know. The first one that I had was in Cyprus.
Yep. I love Cyprus.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I went to Ayia Napa for my 18th birthday. 2 weeks with my mates. Great times. The square. Oh, it's such a great place. I love Cyprus.
Yeah.
Beautiful sea.
So
sandy beaches.
Yeah, that was my first experience of a destination wedding. Cyprus, this little village called Pedalis, which is probably 2 hours, an hour and a half away from the main airport. And yeah, it was beautiful. Manu and Katrina, yeah. And yeah, the wedding.
Oh, I know it well.
You know them well.
No, I ain't got a
clue. Yeah, the wedding was amazing. It was a great introduction to destination weddings because it was very relaxed, and
I can't believe you didn't buy champagne. You bought Prosecco.
In our house, we live and die by Prosecco. Yeah, we do.
Why would you buy Prosecco when you can buy champagne?
See, this is what I mean. He's nice and relaxed now. This is what's going to happen throughout the whole of the episode. This is going to be like an hour and a half long, 2 hours episode because we're just going to be diverging into different.
Next time something big happens, I'll be in charge of getting the champagne. Come on.
Okay, make sure it's Moet. And yeah, no, it was a great way of starting destination weddings. It was nice and relaxed. Yes, it was hard work.
Do you remember how they found you?
Yes, it was a referral, and in fact, it was Tobias Teo that referred it to me. Legend. And yeah, absolutely incredible photographer. You should check him out if you haven't, Tobias Teo. And yeah, Laura, yes, of course,
part of the team.
Yeah, they're great. And yeah, got the wedding from them, and I think that's for anyone that's thinking how do they get started, really, it just shows, really, you never know where your next wedding might come up from. Whether it's in the UK, whether it's local, whether it's in Europe, whether it's wherever it is, really, you never know. So making sure that you've got those connections and keeping in touch with your peers and everything else, it's really crucial.
Yeah, it's up there with one of the most commonly asked questions I think I get. If I could write a list of 4 or 5 questions, how do you get destination weddings would be one of them, alongside what f-stop and ISO you shoot in, and a couple of others. But you know, we'll cover this a bit more throughout the episode, I think, but there's no magic way of finding destination weddings.
Yeah,
I think for me, it all boils down and starts with creating the kind of work that couples who are getting married abroad want to see, and just understanding why they're going abroad and what it is what has made them go, no, do you know what, we're not going to have a traditional wedding in the UK. We're going to go to Tuscany and treat people to like a food and wine experience in the hills of Siena. Why are they doing that? It comes down to the fact they're probably quite relaxed, and and they want people to relax and to enjoy the experience.
That's what I was going to say, experience.
And it's got to show in your work. You know, if your work's very classic and traditional and posed, the chances are couples that are going to those weddings, they're not going to want that.
Yeah.
So it has to start with the type of work that you're showing. But like you've just mentioned as well about, you know, we talked about it with Dan Dolan, didn't we, in one of the previous episodes? You're building connections with people. You know, it's just unbelievably vital to any kind of business development, isn't it?
And if you don't have those connections, start them yourself. Really, start a group. I'm sure that you know one or two wedding photographers out there. You start your own sort of like Facebook group or WhatsApp group, whatever you want to call it, and start sharing those inquiries, start sharing ideas, because that's how you will bring value to those photographers, and in turn, they will hopefully bring value to you. What goes around
comes around, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think it's important to join group, like just on that group subject. It's like the key is to join group or to join up with people and photographers that have a similar approach and an aesthetic and
I know where you're getting with this.
And in a kind of similar stage of business as well. Mm-hmm. You know, if somebody's starting out now, like absolutely no disrespect to them, but they're probably not going to be in a group with me and you. Mm-hmm. But that's not, that sounded like I'm really looking down on them. That is not in my head. That sounded much more valuable. But do you understand the point I'm trying to make? Right?
Let's be real. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make the point of like look at people around you in a similar stage of business, and it's amazing when you pull a few people together, what you can get from that. Yeah, like much from when me and you started out, we wouldn't have got into a private Facebook group with Ed Piers or Nordica or whoever was big in destinations at the time. We wouldn't because we hadn't got the reputation or the brand or the experience to offer our services then. Now we're in a different stage of business. So how would you start today if you were starting out?
I constantly say this at workshops, but start by traveling. Start by traveling first. And when you are traveling, try to document that. Here's the thing. If I was a wedding photographer, I very much still would want to travel and be sort of like someone that worked for Condé Nast or photographing hotels around the world or locations for articles and for whatever else, restaurants, because I love travel. I absolutely love travel. So
I mean, this is going to be one of the points to talk about. You've got to. Yeah. You can't do destination weddings without that love. Yeah. Because it can be quite stressful.
It's grueling.
But what you're saying, I suppose, is make them like. Are you saying to people make those trips so that they can create content, or make those trips and then just create content as like as a byproduct of that trip? Yeah,
have a holiday, but at the same time, have a few locations in mind where you could perhaps hit them up and take content. Hey, I'm a wedding photographer, and I would love to provide content for you and your venue.
Yeah, just think outside the box.
Yeah, that's it.
And basically, what you're saying is we all need to go on holidays more and take more. Yeah, take content, create content.
That's it.
Basically, pimp yourself out. Is that?
Just pimp your destination wedding business. Yeah,
but it's like anything, though, isn't it? You know, it's like anything that you want to add to your business in terms of a type of work that you want to produce. You've got to show that you can create that work in the first place.
Yeah, and that still happens today. Literally. This year, my only destination wedding so far has been Mexico, and literally I spent one or 2 days literally just traveling up and down that coast in Cancun, just looking for venues, looking for different locations, looking for cenotes and things in my mind that I think my couples would want.
Yeah.
So
I think this is where we differ.
Okay.
I'd probably be just round by the pool, having a pina colada.
If you want pina colada, you gotta rock with.
But it's amazing though. Like before we started recording, you mentioned that, and it made me kind of go, "Oh God, you know what? I feel like have I missed opportunities when I've been abroad? Have I really made the most of those trips?" And I don't know if I have. I think I've kind of just found myself. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've created content. I've been to weddings. And I've done pre-wedding shoots. But have I really been creative with the opportunities that were maybe in front of me to kind of go and document the landscape or the scenery or the location, like you say, the hotels, whatever it might be. Yeah. Have I done? I don't think I have.
Yeah.
But it's made me kind of go, right, okay, what have I got this year?
Yeah.
Provence. Okay, right. What can I do in Provence?
Here's the perfect example that comes to mind. So me and Zai we booked a holiday to Iceland. This was probably 2014, 15. And yeah, we trekked around. We had an Airbnb and trekked around the whole of the thing for probably...
Was this the trip where you have that cool photo of you with your hat on and your yellow jacket that you've been using for about 9 years?
Zion took that.
Yeah.
Props to her. Come on. Literally Skogafoss belting it down as a waterfall in the background, and yeah, that
you
shot.
Literally booked clients off that photo.
Yeah, that's it. Not that photo. Not that photo, but from that elopement, from that holiday. And we knew exactly what we were doing, but at the same time we were adventuring and just enjoying it really. And yeah, whenever the inquiry came for that Iceland elopement, I knew exactly what to do, so I kind of like made a quick slideshow of those images. This is what I could provide for you, and we could this is me talking to the couple. This is what I could provide to you. We could go to this location, that location, that location, and in some ways I seemed like an expert to them.
Yeah,
I'd only been to Iceland once, that's it, but that's what I mean in terms of travel. If you want to start it, destination weddings, travel.
Did they book Ed Piers after that?
No, they booked me, okay? They booked me. But yeah, but well, I wanted to know as well, how did you start? What was your sort of like first destination wedding?
I can't remember where it came in. I can remember my first one being in France, just southeast of Paris, in a chateau, with an Australian couple, Carla and Jeremy. I can remember the names.
Yeah.
But again, similar to you, when it came in, I can just remember kind of going, I've got a destination inquiry. What do I do here? What do I do?
Yeah, that's it.
But it was a case of just kind of staying calm, like sending them, my general kind of inquiry email, but just making sure that the work that I was showing them was really, like, it was my best work. It was most relevant to them. So even though I'd not shot one abroad, trying to show them stuff that was going to be, I suppose, aspirational for them as a couple, and then just giving them a sweetener and basically saying, look, this is my rate. I think I was pretty honest and said I hadn't shot one abroad, but I'd love to. So I included all my travel in that rate, which I think at the time was £1,200.
Yeah.
So for £1,200, I drove to France, which I would never do now.
Never.
But it was the first rung on the ladder.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it gave me content. And do you know what's amazing? That was in 2014, that wedding. I think 2013, 2014. I took an inquiry last year for that venue because of that blog post. And I look at it now, like, I took some good stuff there, but my work's come on leaps and bounds since that. And people still find that blog post.
Yeah.
Because they search for the venue and they
it just
find
shows the longevity of it.
And then they come through to my site and they're like, we love that post that you did at the chateau. You're available. And, that's just one small way of just being able to kind of generate those inquiries. We say there's no one trick. There isn't a trick. It's about a kind of like a broad approach to every, like, just to destination weddings. Like, you know what I'm saying? Make the most of every opportunity from it. Yeah.
Consistently dial up the different aspects of certain things that you can.
And now inquiries do come through more for destination weddings. That they do, because we both show ourselves to be destination wedding photographers.
Yeah.
But to start off with, that is, you do have to,
You do have to graft. Yeah. Definitely. And going on that as well, the marketing side of it it's a big one as well. I put myself at the forefront. Literally, my signature literally on emails is creative destination wedding photographer. So people in some ways already know what to expect. There's that. Oh, okay, he's the real deal. Hopefully, that's the perception. But as photographers, as wedding photographers in this sphere, you want to set yourself up as an authority. You want to set yourself up as an expert, really. If you don't know what you're talking about, then say it. Literally, like you did. I've not shot a destination wedding, but this is what I think I would be able to provide to you, and I reckon it would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line, isn't there, between being honest and open, and also what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of
Shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, there's a fine line, isn't there?
Yeah, because it's true, because there's competition out there. There is competition out there, but at the same time, I very much think that if you play to your strengths, those things will be elevated within your business, and you will attract more of that. Really,
I can actually remember before that one in France, I think I'd had an inquiry for one in Sri Lanka, and I can remember having the Zoom call with them. Oh, no, not Zoom, because it was 2013, like a Skype call, and just chatting to them. And I can remember saying to them something along the lines of, I'm still relatively new to the industry. I've got this kind of, I'm a lot more relaxed and a different kind of approach. But I think that kind of me playing myself down and saying I'm new to the industry and, I'm still figuring things out.
Yeah.
Although I was being almost too honest, even though I knew that inside I was good at what I was doing, and I was working incredibly hard.
Yeah.
I just put that little seed of doubt in their mind a little bit, and they obviously decided to go with someone else. I mean, I'm kind of...
There's ways of saying it, isn't it?
I'm being assumptive there, and is assumptive a word? Assumptive is a word, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. But you know what I mean, right? I was assuming that... I knew why they didn't book me, but it was definitely an experience that I had in those early sort of meetings that made me kind of go, no, hold on a second. Everything needs to be positive.
Yeah.
Got to be like, no, come on,
you're selling yourself. You are selling yourself. So, keep it to the truth, but you are selling yourself. You could be, I am new to this, but I'm so damn passionate about it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can see that within my photos. That's a good way of just literally...
Yeah. And then back it up with the photos.
Yeah, that's it.
In terms of going to a destination wedding, like before we get into like the pros and cons of shooting a destination wedding, what's your approach with like kit and gear? How do you kind of set yourself up for shooting abroad? Is there a difference to maybe shooting in the UK? Absolutely,
100%. Gear really matters when it comes to destination weddings, just weddings in general.
In what way does it? I'm intrigued to know, like, from your point of view, like how it differs. Like what do you take? Like generally, what are the key differences between what you take to a wedding in the UK versus Italy?
First of all, my destination wedding gear, it's like half the size of what it would be for a UK wedding. First of all, for UK wedding, I'm traveling, I've got my car, whatever else, and I can put whatever I want in there. I can...
my fizz is running low.
Amy's not
she's gone out, hasn't she? She's gone home for lunch. Would it be weird if I left you during the podcast for a moment? When I'll go and top us up in a minute. I'll go and top us up.
Please do.
Carry on. Sorry, where were you, Igor?
This is amazing. More Prosecco for Sam,
I'm enjoying the podcast life.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah. Podcasting is the best thing. I love podcasting with Igor.
Now Sam's pretended to be drag.
Come on. Where were you? Sorry. I've lost my notes. But anyway, carry on.
So, first of all, the size of the kit would probably be half of the size of what it is for a destination wedding, where it was in the UK.
What stays at home?
Stuff like... I always carry Polaroids with me. That's a massive one. It's kind of like trademark in some ways of my business, specifically for clients. I don't really... I constantly say this, and I just need to just... show them all, but anyway, that's
another subject in itself.
Digressing, exactly.
I've been meaning to add film photography to my work for about 7 years. I love it, and I just don't know why I haven't made that kind of
a priority.
Just approach, like just to go, do you know what? I'm just going to shoot like for an extra fee, I'll shoot a roll of film at your wedding.
That's it. Yeah.
Why am I not doing that?
It really sets you apart.
Yeah,
it really, really does. When couples are sort of like
just buy like a good medium format camera.
Yeah,
get some rolls.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a few
now we're
quid,
talking.
But if you really want to set yourself apart, do you know what? Actually, on the way back from my wedding on Saturday, this is just going off on one slightly, but this is what I love about it. McDonald's drive-through. I had
hey, Alan Law.
It was like it was half past
Alan
12.
Law would be proud of you.
12, 1 o'clock in the morning. The guy in the drive-thru said to me, "Have you had a good day?" I was like, "Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah." It's like, "What have you been doing?" I was like, "I've been working. I've been at a wedding, and said I was a photographer, and he wanted to talk." He wanted to tour. I was like, it's great, but I've got like a 3.5 hour drive home here. I need to get going. Can I just get my plant burger and go? But he was kind of like, yeah, I love film photography, but there's just not much of a market for it, is there? Like, I was like, why not? And I said, you've just got to put it out there, mate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you like film photography,
Yeah.
just go out and shoot film. And
That's it.
tell people that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're going to attract people that want film photography.
Yeah.
Like, there's a market there. But I think people that do film photography really well, I'd love to get somebody that shoots film on this podcast. So if anybody does know of anybody that they love that shoots purely film, let us know.
Good shout.
Because I'd love to get somebody on here and just understand the mechanics of that go into
in terms
that.
of cost,
just
and
like,
returns.
Do you know what it is for me? It's just the pressure.
Yeah.
That's the bit that would terrify me.
Yeah, yeah. But don't forget, they know exactly what they're doing. You'd hope anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are the sort of like contingencies in terms of like, what's your backup? It's not as if you got like 2 SD cards or 2 rolls in your one camera. What are your sort of like contingencies? So yeah, but that's a whole
But anyway,
other
we've gone off on
conversation.
one now. Where were we? Kit. Trim down. What stays at home?
So, okay, let's say not even what stays at home, but what I take really, just to show in some ways how minimal it is. So 2 bodies in terms of like 2 camera bodies, lenses 24, 35, 85, 50 maybe just as a backup for the 35 should anything happen.
Yeah.
And I could shoot the whole wedding with that. That's done. Okay. And a flash.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I would add my Polaroid SX70, and it's this beautiful camera that literally just folds. It's literally like it just folds into this sort of thing. It's really thin.
I still can't believe you haven't bought it here and taken some like headshots for the brand for us.
That's true. Next time.
I haven't done that.
Next time.
I'm going to buy a medium format camera and do it for us. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
That's really good. Good idea. Next time. The SX70 that fits in the back of the bag, and couple of I've got Polaroids loaded already, couple of Polaroids on Polaroid packs in the bag, and that's it. Literally all of that fits within my Compagnon messenger bag.
Yeah.
And that's literally it. Yes, I can take more stuff, and I do take more stuff that literally would go on my carry-on, like a drone. If you're not taking drone shots for destination weddings, I think you're very much shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah. Because destination weddings are all about the travel, are all about the location. So you want to be able to portray or show off that location in as many different ways as possible.
Oh yeah, of course. And the venues can be quite remote. You know, I don't know about you, but you know, a lot of the locations, it's difficult to get a shot of the building or the location without it being in the sky. And you know, the drones now, I mean, for what, the best part of 600 quid, you've got something that fits in your hand and takes, you know, raw still. I mean, there is the level of them now is astonishing. You know, it's a no-brainer, isn't it, to have in your bag? It really is, and that all fits in my bag. And most of the times I tend to have one body always on me. The drone would be inside the bag with another extra body and the lenses. But yeah, if I were to put everything in, it wouldn't fit. But if I carry the one body with me, which always stays with me anyway, always ready to capture whatever is happening, that works really well. What about you? Very, very similar. I've got 2 bodies. I'll take a 35, an 85, the 15 to 35.
Nice.
A flash gun.
I guess the 15 to 35 is sort of like as a backup as well.
That's mainly for dance floor stuff at the end of the night.
Okay, yes, you get a wide.
And then I've got one flash gun, and then I've got like a little LED battery light, super thin and minimal, but it's just a little kind of additional light source. Gorilla pod, a drone, and that's it. All goes in my backpack. I think one thing that we wanted to say to anybody that is going to do destination weddings is that kit,
I know what's coming.
That kit stays on your back all the way through the flight, or that it goes in the cabin. Never ever
never check it.
Ever put it in the hold.
Ever. Don't check.
No. I mean, it's self-explanatory.
Don't check your gear in.
We were like, do we even need to mention that? Is that so obvious? But you just don't know, do you? And I think if anybody's listening, like, you can replace a toothbrush, or you can go and buy some more clothes when you get there if your bag doesn't come out the other side, but you ain't replacing your cameras.
Yeah.
So
If I'm traveling with a family, I'm checking things in, but it will be clothes and that sort of thing. Even when I check things in, the camera bag always stays with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, the carry-on, I take it in with me most of the times. Like, okay, forgetting the family thing. When I'm traveling, just literally by myself, carry-on and the camera bag, the messenger bag, literally always with me. Even the carry-on, I don't check in, because you literally put it overboard, on the overlocker. Yeah. That's where the carry-on bags.
Most bags that, like most kit that we're taking now, fits in a small backpack.
Yeah.
Really,
that's it.
7-8 years ago, before
that goes underneath your seat.
If you were taking more kit, then if you're taking a couple of flash guns and like 5 lenses, you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be tricky. But now, if you trim your kit down, you can get it. You can get it all in a backpack.
Yeah. And that goes underneath your seat. And if you want to take a carry-on and put it under overboard locker, that's not the name, but yeah, you're done. You don't need to check anything in, and you got the autonomy of literally going wherever you want. Not going wherever you want, but you got the autonomy of actually not losing anything in the check-in.
I've got a question I forgot to ask you at the start. Where have you been?
Whew.
Come on, let's give us some names. Give us some countries.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, let's play a game.
Okay.
You name a country, I name a country that we've been to. And then you can't repeat the country.
You can't repeat the country. Okay.
Off you go. First one.
Hong Kong.
Okay. Tuscany. Oh, damn it, I failed already. Italy.
Yes. How does it go? So
you need to say the name of the country now.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Just country you've been to.
Okay. And then try and okay.
So you
try
can
and
go
match it. So yeah. Ding. Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay. I can. Yeah. France.
Ding. Marrakesh.
It's Morocco.
Yeah, Morocco. Sorry.
Denmark.
No.
Oh, we're not saying no. You just have to tell me another country now that you've been to until you've run out of your countries.
Oh, okay.
But you can't say a country that I've named.
Okay.
Do you know what? I was thinking this on the fly, and I should have set out the ground rules a little bit clearer and more. But we're on track.
No.
So go on, just carry on.
We got it.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Portugal.
Okay. Ibiza.
I was going to say Spain.
I think you can say Spain.
Yeah, Ibiza is sort of like Ireland. Okay, yeah. Spain.
Mallorca.
Well done. But I did say it, but Cyprus.
Okay. Sicily. Can I use Sicily? It's kind of Italy, isn't it?
It is.
I'll go Philippines.
Ooh, nice. Serbia. Beat that.
Antigua.
Ooh.
There can't be many more left now. We're at the end of the game almost. Has he got it in his locker? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Iceland. How could I forget? I'll give you a bit
Scotland count. Scotland count.
Scotland definitely counts.
Yeah,
Scotland definitely counts. Okay, let's go for the UK. Wales.
Northern Ireland.
Guernsey.
Oh, God. I think I might be done. I think I'm out. Rhodes.
Ooh, well done. Well done. You've won. I'm just going through. You've won.
Good game. Good game. It was messy at the start, but we kind of got there in the end.
That was me with my...
Thought you stole it at Iceland, didn't you? Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So the point of this episode as well, I suppose, was to kind of talk about the pros and cons of doing destination weddings, and we kind of wanted to share some experiences and some ideas and bring some sort of hopefully some value to people listening. So, do you want to kick us off with like a pro? Like, what would you consider to be an advantage of shooting destination weddings?
The content that you get from it is, it's just sort of like establish authority. If a couple is looking for a photographer and they see that A and B, so A shoots your local wedding, in fact has shot a wedding at your venue, but B has shot a wedding at your venue, but also shot a wedding in Italy and France, wherever else. Again, it's established authority towards photographer B, because it just instills trust, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You very much think that, yes, that guy has traveled, someone has actually gone out of their way to pay B photographer to travel and go to their wedding and capture.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of like reputation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, as sad as it is, even though someone's work might be similar to someone else,
yeah,
people like to, they're buying into that, and they want to kind of, what's the word? Kind of, I don't know, almost
clout.
Yeah. I think I suppose it's a differentiating factor, isn't it, between a couple of photographers? Like, like you said, this guy's or girl's been to, look at the countries they've been to, and we've booked them. Yeah. But I do think it can just elevate your brand slightly. It just makes you stand out a bit more, and kind of gives your work just another little, boost or raise in your portfolio. Yeah.
But keeping things real as well. That's not to say that just because you have travelled for a wedding or better said, just because you haven't travelled for a wedding, it doesn't mean that you are less of a wedding photographer than someone that has. Really, totally not, because there's so many amazing wedding photographers out there that literally churn out incredible work here in the UK. And but then again, from a couple's point of view, I very much do think that it does establish trust. It does establish authority, really, when they see and compare things like that. Really,
I think from an experience point of view, from our side as being photographers, although it shouldn't make much of a difference, I do find that just ever so slightly, just the attitude and approach to from the couple, and also the people that are at those weddings, can be slightly different. And it kind of seems a bit cliche, but people are there on holiday, aren't they? And they're just in a different mood. Yeah. I really enjoy kind of going along to the pre-wedding event and just mingling with people and having a glass of champagne. That's what I enjoy.
Not it's Prosecco.
Nice. It's nice just to meet people, and people are in a very different mindset. Not very different, that's probably a bit harsh. They're just in a different mood. It just feels incredibly relaxed.
And that's just to say that it does also happen here in the UK, but most of the times I find that it's paired up with the couple, as you constantly say, bring your vibe. The couple brings the vibe, but also the location. And we get so many incredible locations here in the UK. But the location really can play a massive part in terms of how guests come into a wedding and how that establishes the vibe, in terms of like that relaxed vibe, that experience vibe. Because when you get venues that, or for example, when you get a wedding where everyone is staying at the one location or really nearby, or the wedding in itself is at one location, it's not as if we're traveling from A to B to C, but no, everything is happening in that location.
You mean in the UK?
Yes, but just the venue itself. And yes, I mean in the UK, everything is literally happening at that venue. It just changes things so
even,
much.
I suppose even from a couple's point of view, like a destination wedding doesn't have to be abroad.
No, 100% not.
Me and Gemma got married in Devon, but it still felt like a destination wedding, because we made everybody, all of our guests had to make a real effort to get there, because they were there for the weekend. But we wanted that because
to relax. They were ready to party. They were ready to
people
celebrate.
To get there and to enjoy the experience of the weekend, not just a day. Like get a taxi to the wedding and then come home. And we wanted them to make an effort and to go there, and it kind of paid off in that respect. You know, when everybody's had a chance to meet everybody the night before the wedding, you go into the wedding day already knowing kind of who the crowd is and what everybody's like, and it just barriers are down, aren't they?
When actually comes to the
so
day,
you can have a destination wedding and go to the UK. I suppose that's the point I'm trying to make. For me, one of the big pros of destination weddings is the wine.
El vino.
I mean, we're both big foodies, right? And just, I don't know. And this is, it took me until I was probably about 31, 32 to go to Italy. But Italy for me has been a game changer.
Yeah.
Like, just the food and the wine in Italy, I think is just, it's just on another level. I mean, I love France. I do. I genuinely love France. We used to go to France all the time as kids and as a family. But you say the word veggie over there, and they are. You can see the pain in their eyes. You know, they are. Did you just say that? Like, yeah. It's a swear word. But in Italy, just they can't feed you enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it.
I was gonna say, have you done a Spanish wedding? But a Spanish wedding again, it's probably very much
I think there's
same.
some definite parallels.
Yeah, very
some of the best food I've
similar.
ever had is in Ibiza.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. If there's one reason to travel, it's to experience food, wine, drinks, whatever, and just the culture in general, because it just takes you to a zone where you are. I find myself so much more creative.
Oh, without doubt.
By removing myself from my usual day-to-day life, specifically just the action of literally traveling, getting on a plane, my mind just goes to a whole other level in terms of like creativity, and I just can't wait to literally capture everything. Kid in a candy shop, it really is. So yeah, that's why I love destination weddings, and that's why I find myself like being good at them, because I thrive on that setting. But at the same time, I guess this is
have you had a destination where you would say, not your favorite destination wedding, but if you had a wedding abroad where you would go, your creativity was kind of at its peak or maxed out or whatever it is, you know, when you really felt
meaning like really good,
just really high level of creativity.
I think that's
because I think we've said before, but it kind of comes from the couples as well. A lot. I feed off couples so much. That for me is where it comes from. But obviously, if you're in a venue or location that's, you know, can play into that, it just amplifies it even more, doesn't it? So is there one that springs to mind?
100%, always one. And even at workshops, I sort of like, it was the sort of like the destination wedding for me that literally changed everything for me in terms of my mindset really about destination weddings. But yeah, my first wedding in Marrakesh, Kirsten and Dave, they had a 3-day wedding. So literally started in the Marrakesh Medina, literally the streets, and just great fashion, literally with all of the guests and everything else, and just inspiration for the wedding itself, towards the wedding planners, was based on Yves Saint Laurent, and it was amazing. So first day, setting the mood and everything else was incredible. Second day, Agafay Desert, literally people riding camels, all dressed in white. That's that. They know that they have a surprise coming up. Just dress yourself in white and get yourself here, and literally open up the van, and there you go. The camels waiting for you to literally drive around the desert, and then you have amazing Moroccan tents with amazing food, wine, and everything else. And then third day, the wedding.
I mean, they are milking it, aren't they? That is milking the wedding, but I love it. You don't tend to get camels in Kent, do you?
But again, it's just to talk about that experience. Destination weddings are about that experience, and discovering that, I was kind of like, wow, this is how destination weddings can be. This is the opportunities that you can have if you do this right. So that very much opened my eyes, and I've loved those guys ever more since that, really, because it's just it was incredible.
But just like you talking about that kind of gets my mind racing of like just camels in the desert and like people, and just just like the visual aesthetic of it all is just like, how can that not be inspiring?
Exactly.
Like, I'd be like, where do I go? God, I've got to make the most of this. How can I be in 15 places at once?
Even before. Now imagine, this is going to happen. I promise you, this is going to happen, and I'm putting it out there. Me and you.
Are you manifesting?
Yeah. I'm just saying it's going to happen.
Is champagne involved?
Yes.
Okay.
For you, yes. we're going to have a wedding in Marrakesh where we're going to shoot together, and we're going to milk it, absolutely milk it.
Okay, I'm up for that.
And record a lot of content.
Do I get to wear all white?
Yes, you do.
Okay, yeah. Great.
It's going to happen. It's going to absolutely happen. So yeah. I don't know where we're going, but what about you?
I mean, that's kind of like asking me to pick a favourite child. Oh man, my mind just races.
Or to better ask the question, the destination wedding that sort of made you think, wow, this is incredible,
okay,
and I want to do more
easier.
of it.
Yeah, that's a bit easier. So I think I've done a few before this one, but I think Danny and Carlo in Tuscany was probably the one where I went, I want a few more of these. This is good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to put my finger on what it was that made me feel like that. I think first and foremost, like again, I've said it countless times, it's always about connection with a couple for me. And not that I didn't have it with previous couples. Like I just felt really comfortable around them both. They were just, it sounds a bit mad, but they were so excited to have me there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I've really had that before. I've not had it where a couple were like, we are buzzing to have you here.
Yeah.
And that was big. That kind of makes you kind of go, yeah, maybe people do like what I do here.
Yeah. They appreciate your art. They appreciate what you do and what you bring.
And I think it was the first wedding for me where everything kind of, the things that I'd learned over maybe the first 3 or 4 years of my business kind of started to click.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd let go of a few things, a few hang-ups, within, you know what it's like being a photographer, constantly comparing yourself to other people, and you see what other people are doing, and you think, should you be doing that? Should you not be doing it? And I kind of had a period where I said, no, I'm going to stop doing all that. I'm going to stop trying to do all these little gimmicks or whatever they might be, and I'm just going to focus on what I love about what I'm good at. And that was just being present and documenting things that happen in front of me just creatively, and not staging anything. And they were the first couple that I felt really comfortable with. And it's a two-way street, but everything just felt like it clicked. It felt like one of those days where it was effortless, and I obviously did work hard, but I didn't feel like I really had to fight anything. Like everything just happened organically, and the shots were just, I've still got something on my homepage. That's how pleased I was at the time, and I still am now. So yeah, I think that would be the one that was the one that kind of sparked the real love for going abroad.
Yeah.
And since then, that kick-started, that kind of got me into going to Tuscany quite a lot. Once I had that wedding under my belt, I've been to Tuscany countless times now.
You're Italian now?
Yeah, partly, yeah.
Look at that tan.
Yeah. But no, that would be the one that probably stands out as being the first kind of big experience.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And something that you said there, it just made me think, and it's completely a side point, but when was that wedding?
2015.
Okay.
16.
Sam Docker at 2015, to say that you making that decision of, I'm not going to care about what here's Sam trying to pour out the last ditty bits. Can you hear the drops? The last ditty bits of the prosecco that he's been disgruntled about, but the bottle is empty, so yeah.
I mean, I've complained, but I'm still drinking it.
Exactly. But no, I was going to say that Sam at 2015 that decided that I'm not going to stress about looking at other people's work, and I'm just going to do my own thing. To say that you are, like today, 2020... Two.
Are you okay, hon?
Add a couple of years to that.
How's that Prosecco going now?
Prosecco's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I still look at other people's work.
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm getting to the point that you are really, really good at running your own race. You are really, really good at just letting your work speak for itself and being Sam Dockett. That's it.
You can only take the photos that you can take, can't you?
True. But there's got to be a point. There's got to be a certain stage where you sort of like decide to actually, no, I'm going to do my own thing, and it's really evident in your work. That's just to say that, and kudos to you because of that. That's just to say that, really, because you are really good at it.
Thank you. I don't know how to respond to that. Kind of blushing a little bit.
Learn to take compliments. That's it.
That was a big turning point in my business, because I'd done all right up until that point and things were going well. But I suppose for people listening to this or watching this now, that maybe in the early years of their business, I hope that it kind of makes them feel a little bit more comfortable when they can hear somebody like us guys that have been doing it for 10 years kind of go, that we're not always happy. We do look at other people's work and we do feel that at times, but we've kind of become a bit more comfortable with letting go of it and just accepting that we're not that person, or that we create our own work
and we hone into our strengths.
I think one trait that I've always had, and this kind of goes for anything that I do in business, or whether it's being a photographer or us doing this podcast, it's always about that process and that cycle of going, okay, done that, what have I learned from it, let's improve it, go again. Okay, I've done that, what have we learned from it, improve it, let's go again. That process and that cycle never ends for me. I'm always looking to improve, and it might just be that 0.5%, 1%, it doesn't matter, like constantly going, how can this just be a bit better? And I don't think that should ever leave. If you're not doing that, then your business is already in trouble.
That's it. No, I completely agree. 1% increments.
Away from kind of those destination wedding experiences that you've had from a creative point of view, is there one that kind of stands out as just a kind of a life experience, or anything that, take the wedding side away from it a little bit? Is there anything that you kind of look back on and go, wow, how on earth did that happen? I mean, given that me and you going to Marrakesh hasn't happened yet, so.
It will happen. There's an experience that sort of like comes to mind. So and this doesn't start as a wedding, but it's sort of like ends in full circle at a wedding, if that makes sense. But me and Zai, we had been probably... So we had a like mini moon in Cornwall, and did a little trip and just travel around the West Coast, and then saved up a couple of years so we could have a trip to Thailand. And we just trekked around Thailand for a little bit. In fact, we didn't trek. We stayed at one hotel, and then we went to Bangkok. So we did a little bit, but did that, and out of the blue, it happened as well that the same hotel that we were at, Ed Pearce was there with his family, who was there obviously to capture a wedding because he's Ed Pearce. We were there on holiday, but seeing them enjoying that whole environment, that whole experience, the food, the culture and everything else, as a family, not just as a photographer individual, but as a family, I really enjoyed that. I really loved seeing that, and in some ways, in the back of my mind, aspired to that, really. So
do you think seeing that and knowing that someone was there that you kind of knew of, seeing them there doing it, made you kind of go, I can do that? I think that's often a big stumbling block for a lot of people in businesses. When they realise that there are people out there doing it, it kind of gives them the confidence to, or just gives them permission to kind of go, I can do that.
You might dream it, but when you see it, when it's tangible there, you're kind of like, I really can do this.
Normalises it, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much does. So and then
just a guy from London in Thailand taking photos of someone's wedding. I mean, if you were to just say that, it's one thing, but to actually see somebody there doing it kind of makes it just normalises it and makes it kind of
very much does
become more achievable and attainable when you can see them doing it.
And to take it full circle, literally, 2019, just before the pandemic hit, it was the year that we traveled the most as a family. Literally, we did so much travel as a family. It was beautiful. It was great. Zai was on maternity leave. Ava was probably between 6 to 9, maybe 10 months, and we just traveled Marrakesh, Hawaii, US, all sort of places, and it was just great to literally do it as a family.
Yeah.
It was hard work, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it was so invaluable. We look back at those years and looking towards the future with so much more hope and optimism for the weddings that are coming up abroad, because we know that we can do it. Yes, now today we've got an extra child, Zara. It's 4 of us, so it would be more of a effort to sort of travel, but at the same time it's the idea and the notion, the reality, as you said, the normalization of the fact that it can be done.
Yeah,
it really can be done.
There's no doubt that as a pro goes for destination weddings, that's got to be up there with anything, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it's the opportunity that it presents to you as an individual, but also as a family. You know, like I just think of some of the places we've been. Like we would never have gone to Boracay Island in the Philippines. It would just never have happened. But we did. We took Betsy when she was a year and a bit old. You know, 3 flights and a boat trip and a tuk-tuk to get to this island. And I'm just like, what on earth is happening here? How on earth has this happened? But I look back on that, I can still think of, you know, still see Gemma and Betsy on the beach, and you know, the girls in the bar just like being obsessed with Betsy and how blonde her hair was. And
exactly
like,
that.
This is unbelievable. What
some of your best memories, isn't it?
Experience. You know, and then fast forward 6, 7 years, and we were going to Antigua. And you know, this time Buddy was with us, and I just think, God, this is just unreal that we get this opportunity to go to an island in the Caribbean that, again, we would never have gone. Oh, do you fancy going to? Should we go to Antigua? You know,
as
we
you
did, and it was incredible. We had one of the best weeks. You know, Betsy and Gemma went, you know, fishing with stingrays, and you know, we went on some of the most incredible beaches we've ever been on, and all because of these 2 cameras that I carry around. I mean, when you boil it all down, I mean, it kind of still blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I take photos. Some couple in New York found them and were like, this is the guy we want to document our wedding. Can you come to Antigua? You know, I don't know about you. I mean, we don't tend to do short haul stuff now. So if I'm going to France or Tuscany or wherever, I tend to just go there and come back. Yeah. But anything long haul, it's like, right, come on, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. This year we didn't. I did Mexico, but at the same time,
you had just had a child.
Exactly. That was the reason in some ways, and part of us sort of like wanted to tie it in, but no.
And also we've still just come out of the COVID travel era, so I suppose things would have been a bit more, you know, on the higher levels of anxiety and stress than maybe they would have been before. Yeah.
And that's to say as well, I spent the last 2 years being really careful and abiding by the law and not getting COVID.
Yeah.
Then travel to Mexico and come back
with COVID.
With Mexican COVID.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of touched on there about anxiety and stress. I think we haven't talked about many of the downsides, but I think that's probably going to be one of the first ones that we can queue up, isn't it? You know, I think it's safe to say that if you're not a comfortable traveller, you know, if you get nervous and anxious when you're travelling in any kind of way, that might not be the gig for you.
Yeah, it really might not, because there's so many variables, and as a person, you very much want to be prepared, but at the same time have the sort of mindset that should anything happen, I want to be able to just literally switch and adapt.
Yeah,
and move on in order to do what you need to do, really.
There's definitely a risk involved. I mean, from a couple's point of view, if they're going to choose to bring somebody in from abroad, you know, they are ultimately taking a risk.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you do have anxiety, if you do stress about it, in terms of travel, there is things that you can do in order to mitigate it. So arrive a couple of days early, even if it's most of the times people tend to travel a day before. So even if it's 3 days, if it takes you time to literally climatize to wherever you're going, arrive early just so you can really take in the scenario that you're in and let things sink in, really. And arrive early. What would be the other one? I had something in my mind and it just escaped me.
I'm just going to sit here and watch you struggle to find that piece. I think the leaving with a buffer in place, in good time. So if you've got a wedding on a Saturday and it's in Europe, you probably want to be going out on the Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. I generally tend to go out on the Friday morning now. As long as I can get an early flight out of, say, Stansted on the Friday morning, I'm fine with that. But I'm kind of used to it. But the risk is that if something doesn't happen on that day and I've got to get out there on the Saturday, it is a bit riskier. Touching on the COVID travel times, I had an issue last year where I got turned away from a flight because I'd taken my COVID test. I mean, we don't have to do this so much now, but I took my COVID test 20 minutes earlier than I should have done. And they turned me away at British Airways
by 20 minutes.
By 20 minutes. So I did another test at the airport, but that test result came back after the flight had already departed. And when you're at this point, when you are in the position of having missed your flight and it's going without you on it, you kind of get to this point where you're like, I will now just do whatever it takes to get to Italy. Yeah. Regardless. Doesn't matter what the cost is, how difficult it is. It's weird. I can remember phoning my mum and dad, and particularly my dad, and I was just zoned in. I was like, right, what are my options? What are we doing? He was on his iPad at home looking at stuff. I was
amazing.
I was getting on my laptop in the airport trying to find stuff, and it's really weird. I think a lot of people under those circumstances would have crumbled or just
and say, I'm really sorry, I can't make it,
because part of me wanted to be upset, but all I was focused on was fixing it, finding the solution. Yeah. And I was just zoned in. It's really weird. It was like an out-of-body experience. Of just being like, right, now, come on, what do I need to do?
It's very easy to become overwhelmed with that sort of scenario, really. And
I think if it had been earlier on in my business, and maybe I'd not had the experience of travelling quite a bit for weddings, that I would have handled it very differently. I would have probably been a bit more, stressed out and scared by the prospect of having to say to a couple, I'm not going to be at your wedding, because that's a position you don't want to be in. I'd phoned Lucy, the planner, and given her a heads up, and she amazingly was like, you're going to be fine, you'll be okay, just do what you got to do.
And just to tie it back in,
that's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted to fix it for me, but
just to tie it back in though, you were able to sort of bring that around, because again, you had a buffer. It's not as if you kind of I
didn't have a huge buffer.
I know, true, but you still had a buffer in order to do what you needed to do in order to get yourself there. Yes, it might have been hard work, but you had that buffer.
Yeah, well, I made it. I booked, the first solution was booking a flight from Heathrow to Amsterdam and then on to Florence, and I paid £600 for that flight. Yeah. In a panic. And then when I got to Terminal 3, because I had to move to a different terminal, having done a bit of homework on what I needed to do to go through Holland, I realised that Holland wasn't allowing UK passengers. So even though it was a connecting flight, I was kind of like,
surely they'll let me.
They will let me through, won't they? But then I was like, but what if they don't? What if they don't let me through? What if they go, no, sorry, you need to turn around? Yeah. Then I'm in real trouble, because there's no way I'm getting out of that. Yeah. So I can remember speaking to my dad going, right, okay, that's my option. Or I go to Stansted, I get a flight with Ryanair tomorrow morning at 6:30, and I get to the wedding by lunchtime. And that was it. I made the call. I thought if I go to Holland and they turn me around, that's it. It's game over. But go to Stansted, get a flight out of Ryanair. Obviously, no one even looked at my certificate, and I was on the flight at 6:30. I was at the wedding having lunch with Ben, the videographer, at 12 o'clock at the wedding, going, so what time do we start? And it was just chilled, and no one even bothered. No one even batted an eyelid. They were like, oh, Sam's here. So, and I did. Got on with it, shot the wedding. I was still shooting the wedding at 3:30 in the following morning, having been up at 3:30 the day before to get on my flight. So, stressful and an experience, but that's just the nature of
of the game.
Nature of the beast, isn't it? Sometimes.
And yeah, I think this very much ties into to one of the other points that we had, that yes, destination weddings might look amazing and everything else, but we know that weddings in general are hard work. You put your steps in, you got to think on your feet, things are changing constantly. With all of those variables, add then the fact that you got to travel and scout and whatever else, everything's really new.
You're dealing with more heat, harsher sunlight, it's tough.
Communication sometimes.
For a second, let's just be really clear. We're not saying don't do destination weddings, because we both absolutely love them. And
we're just laying out
these are just some of the things that everybody should at least give a bit of thought and attention to. So just like little things like that I never used to do at the start, but I do now all the time. Is like I take a baseball cap with me, and I'll wear a baseball cap all day.
I'll take my fedora.
I thought you would do. Factor 50. I drink more water. I had a wedding in Rhodes a few years ago, and one of the cameras powered down in the middle of the day because it was so hot. It was 40 degrees.
Yeah,
powered down during the ceremony. But I had to stay calm and composed and just go, okay, I've got another body here that's working. Right, okay, I need to try and keep that one in the shade. I went and put the one that powered down in the shade and got it out of the heat. But you've got to be able to deal with that. Unfortunately, it came back on an hour later and it was okay. But for half an hour, 40 minutes, I thought that was it. I was down to a single body and in a spot of bother. But all of these things, they just add another layer of stress and anxiety that you've got to be able to deal with. You have to be adaptable and go and just stay, I suppose, level-headed. Yeah,
very much so. And but that's to say, it can be very, very much played on your strength. If it is your strength to sort of like be versatile and adaptable, go for it. Because it will test you in that sense, and you might come out. Not you might. I pray that you will come out from it stronger and more confident within yourself, within your business, which is the case for us anyway. The other point that I was going to add was the fact of admin. Just admin for a destination wedding can be so much more extensive, really. First of all, you got to book flights, you got to book hotel, you got to book car hire if you need to,
parking at the airport.
Just with all that, just the costs just mount up. So don't just sort of like glamorize it by thinking that I'm gonna have this content and it's gonna be amazing and I'm gonna rake it in.
You're still running a business then. You're still got to make it financially worthwhile, because obviously we talked about it already, but you're away generally for 3 or 4 days. It doesn't take a genius to go, well, you could shoot 2 weddings in the UK in that time and then double the money. So it really you've got to make it worthwhile. How do you work it in terms of a lot of people know this, how do you work it in terms of pricing or charging for your flights, your accommodation, your car hire, all of those things you've talked about? Do you put that on your couples? Do you handle it yourself? What's your kind of approach? How much do you charge? What's your
good tactic? Question. First of all, for couples, the way that I have like four sets of brochures, one for UK, one for Europe, one for international, and one for dream packs. All of those brochures.
What was the last one?
Dream pack. So literally,
what's dream pack? Hold on 10K.
A second. 10K and above.
Okay. Now we're talking.
Dream pack.
Yeah.
So whenever your inquiry goes in, I sort of like just categorize it first of all, and this is literally a drop down button. Okay, this couple is getting married here, so it's going to be within this pack, and all of those packs have got prices all in one. So it's not as if you book me, you get you book me at this specific package. Let's say it's 6,000, and then you have 1,500 or 2K extra in terms of like accommodation or whatever else. No, it's all in one.
Because Igor Denver only stays in 5-star hotels, don't you? And you only travel business class.
I have done before, but no, that's not to say that I constantly do. I definitely don't. It's very much of a rarity. But to say that it just makes it easier on your
Yeah.
couple. They don't have to faff around and calculate prices. Yes, they will have to calculate if they want to customize their package, which they do.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But from the get-go, it just makes it easier for them.
I mean, I've done it before where I've let the couple book stuff before, and it just gets messy.
Yeah.
And you learn after the first time of doing that you can't do it again.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to you to control where you're flying from, like what your flight details are, and you know, you're in control of where you're going to go and stay.
Yeah. Because should you want to go in and out, sometimes, we've booked you something, or we've booked your car, or actually we haven't booked your car. My uncle, he lives nearby, and he will pick you up, and those sort of things.
Yeah. No, I think but from a couple's point of view as well, that they don't want to have to deal with booking all their travel arrangements for their supplies. Just take it off them. You know, I used to charge like £500 for Europe. It's now gone up to 700 because I know that by the time I book my flights and my car hire,
you should up that.
You know, and it probably will go up again. Everything's going up, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I've just booked France for September at an old rate of 500, and it's already cost me 600 before I've even gone there.
Yeah,
so it's definitely gone up. So I think just taking that away from the couples is a big win.
Yeah. Very much so. And this is something that I learned from you. Do not be afraid of putting your prices up when it comes to destination weddings, because again, I guess it's just, let's normalize this. Let's open up the book a little bit in terms of pricing, because having conversations with you, it was that Mallorca wedding that we did.
I mean, that was the best weekend of my life.
So we're both shooting weddings. We both have each our own wedding, but we're shooting in Mallorca. Sam's at point A, I'm at point B. Let's meet in the middle at point C. And the day before wedding, and that was beautiful. That's what I loved about that experience with you, because we were at that restaurant, and it was the perfect scenario. It was the perfect setting. First of all,
what are the chances of that, though? Like us having a wedding, literally 10 minutes down the road from each other in Mallorca on the same weekend. Yeah.
And it was the perfect setting. First of all, we were removed from our usual day-to-day. We're in Mallorca, enjoying a glass of red and good food. And we're there talking about pricing, and you very much encouraged me to just up it, because there's money to be had out there, really. So just kind of
this comes back to just like the whole idea of just broadening your horizons again, though, isn't it? And talking about, you know, getting other experiences. If you stay in your bubble all the time, you don't see anything outside of that bubble. Yeah, you're never going to grow. Like the whole point of this, you know, us traveling and us connecting with each other and talking to each other about all these things, is that it's just one part or one facet of our business that allows us to grow, because we get to see these other world. We get to see this other world that's out there. Yeah. You know, if I was just Sam from Derby, and I never went outside of being Sam from Derby, I'd just be charging £1,200 and shooting next door at the wedding venue next to me all the time, if I didn't look outside of that bubble. Yeah. Yeah, but I remember 6 months later, after that Mallorca wedding, looking at the hotel that I shot at, thinking, oh, do you know what? Gemma would love it if I took her there for a weekend. She'd love it. I know what's coming. It was beautiful. And it was stunning. It was a venue built into an old fortress that had been sunk into the ground, like, you know, in the grounds of the rock, you know, the rock face of the waterfront and the sea. And it was stunning. Probably one of the best venues I've ever been to. And I can remember having a look online. Yeah, it's one of those. It's got like a room built into a cave and like a swimming pool that overlooked the Med. And is it the Med? It's the Med, isn't it? Yeah. I had that moment of doubt there. And I had a look on the line. I went online and looked on the website. I was like, oh right, yeah. So I looked at like a long weekend, and it was coming in at like $4 or $5 grand. It's a bit pricey, that is. A bit pricey. And I thought, no, just, you know what? Actually, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to treat it. So I went to the checkout, and it went up by like 4 times that, and that price was per night. It was per night, and it just, you know, seeing things like that, just seeing that there's a hotel there on a small island, you know, in the Med, charging £4,000 or £5,000 a night to stay in just makes you go, oh, actually, maybe I am worth a bit more than $2.5 grand.
And it makes you think, why can't I do that myself?
Because I've seen it.
Exactly.
Kind of like we talked about with Ed Pierce. You've been able to sort of visualise somebody actually doing that job, made you go, I can do that job.
Yeah.
Maybe I could go for it.
That's very much it.
I like that we normalise just talking about the cost and the money side of business.
Cheeky question.
I don't think people do it enough. Yeah, go on.
Cheeky question. What's the most that you've charged for a destination wedding?
7,500.
Yeah,
I think for Switzerland. It actually didn't go ahead. Got cancelled last year, but that was the highest. I've ever charged. Yeah, that was for me for 2 days and a second shooter.
It's good.
And I had to be able to ski, which I can ski. I can ski and snowboard. Just getting that out there. In case anybody wants a photographer that can ski and board, I can do that.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Again, it just normalizes it, really. For me, it's like, again...
What about you? What was your highest? Or what's your highest?
It's been 13, but this was for 3 days.
Yeah.
It was for 3 days, and you gotta think, for 3 days, you're going to spend there probably 5 days at least each with 1 day on each side. But 3 day weddings, 13. But all that to say, just people just need to talk more about money. We've had our Money Matters episode,
and we mentioned it in the last couple that we've got a financial advisor coming on soon, hopefully to talk about business setup and finances. So that'll be interesting. Here's the point. We're mentioning these numbers literally because we want not to kind of like, ooh, look at Sam, look at Igor, but very much to normalize the fact that there's money to be had out there, and you can do it if you sort of like take these incremental steps that we've been sort of like talking about. At least it has worked for us, and it can very much work for you should you want that. Really, it's the possibilities of things that are out there really for you to grab. And with the whole $5,000 a night hotel room, there is money to be had out there. It really is. And sometimes people just don't see that, just kind of like tunnel vision. And I think it's also important for a lot of people to hear that we also have the same worries and doubts that they may have at every price point that they I've always found it a little bit scary going from 2,500 to 3,500, 3,500 to 5,000, because you naturally, it's just totally normal to go, but what if no one books me? But then people start booking you, and you're like, oh, okay. So, and for me, I feel like I'm in a position now where I've just normalised being at $5,000, and I'm quite comfortable. And even on the weekend, I worked with a videographer that has a friend that does weddings at 8, 9, 10,000 normally, and it made me kind of go, oh, okay. Right, I might just put my price up again then. But I'm like, but then what happens if no one books me? I think we all have those struggles, don't we?
Yeah, we do have those fears, really.
I think the point you're trying to make and that we've made is that we're just trying to normalise those numbers a little bit and make people feel that it is achievable. Like a guy from Derby and a guy from Peterborough that take photos can charge $5-6 grand a wedding. Just goes to show that you can do it.
You can really do it. Another pro that I had it's not really a pro, but it's in some ways like a way to combat the con of anxiety and stress. You kind of like touch upon it a little bit in a comical way, but make it enjoyable for yourself. If you have to book a hotel room that you know that you're going to enjoy, you can stay by the sun by, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours before the wedding kicks off in the morning or something like that.
I mean, I don't tend to do that. I tend to book the cheapest Airbnb that I can find. And I get there and I'll always go, oh, Gemma would have loved coming here. Oh no, she wouldn't stay in this. She would not stay here.
Gemma's got standards.
She's got a level of taste.
Gemma.
I mean, I do share that, and I do. But for me, it's just about it's an expense, and I'm there to work. But like you're right. If somebody wants to get into this industry in this field, that you can just add to the experience, can't you? And just make yourself feel a bit more...
Make it enjoyable.
Make yourself feel more comfortable. I can deal with it. I can go to a very basic Airbnb and just be like, I'm just here to sleep, and then I'm going to go to the wedding.
That's it.
So, but a swimming pool is always nice.
100%. If I'm in Marrakesh, I know exactly where I'm going, where I'm staying, and it's normal. and I know it'll be nice. I know that should I want room service, there's room service. I can stay by the pool, and yeah, it'll be great. So it just inspires you a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. Literally being by the pool, get some AirPods on, and listen to
a podcast, listen to more episodes of us.
Yeah. It just really normalizes it.
I don't want to end on a negative. I don't think we're going to. I'm hoping we'll have another positive, but I think that kind of does touch on maybe one of the other sort of the con side of it is that, for me, I always, and I do still feel it, even though I'm there, and I'm kind of torn. I'm there. I love going to them. I have a great time. I always kind of feel really inspired and connected to my couples. But I also know that I'm away from my family for like 4 days, and that's like an internal battle that I have to deal with, and I park it.
It's very true.
I think part of the reason I've been able to do it is because I am able to kind of just turn that kind of switch off a little bit and just go, right, I've got to go. This is my job. It's what I'm being paid to do. I'm going to check in with them, but I've got to just let go of that. But there's no doubt, like, everybody puts out this thing on Instagram when they're doing destination weddings of like, look where I am, which we all do. I'm not like I'm not knocking anybody for doing it, but part of me does go, I'm just eating a bowl of pasta in my I'm basic,
sorry, but no.
In my basic Airbnb.
No.
What are you saying?
No. It's not going to happen. You and me are going to go to Marrakesh.
We're going to go to Marrakesh. If anybody's watching this or listening, you can get a little bit of discount if you get me and Igor together. But yeah, I think just being away from the family is probably the final sort of negative aspect for me.
And it's the major one,
because you can't take them with you everywhere you go. If I've had years where I've done 7-8 weddings a year. If I took them with me on every destination wedding, I'd make no money. So being away is the downside, and it's just the thing that, like, if something happens at home or something, if you're needed, you're not just 2 hours away. You're quite a journey, and it's tough. But you just got to take it, I suppose, and be able to deal with it, and accept that you will be back, and it's just part of the job.
It's part of the job, really, and you can make it a perk at the same time. You've got both sides of the coins. Yes, I'm not taking my family on this trip, but there could be other trips where you do.
Of course,
It's both sides of the coin, really. But and
I suppose like managing your diary is probably like a good one, isn't it? Like, I think if you've got kids, you've got a family at home, doing sort of 4 or 5 destination weddings over a month-long period is probably a little bit silly. Yeah. But doing one every month or one every couple of months is probably more than doable and achievable. So it's just about having that awareness and just striking the balance, I suppose. Because it does take, you are away. You're out of the office for a few days. There's more admin involved with it. So,
and that's to say as well that I get this question. I don't know if you get this question. I'm sure you do. People look at your work and they sort of like think, so do you ever say no to a client in the sense of
an inquiry?
An inquiry. Actually, no. And the question comes from that sort of point of you've reached a specific level, and no, you're not enough for me, or whatever else. Your wedding is not enough for me. And that never happens. Never happens. And I'm sure it's the same for you. But what happens is, especially when we sort of like looking at that whole idea of looking at the diary and everything else, and things are looking packed, and you would sort of like turn to the couple, actually, no, I can't do your wedding. But
your diary's packed and you get an inquiry for like Amalfi Coast. On a Wednesday.
What I would say to sort of like mitigate that, because I've never had to say no, never had to, but what I would do to mitigate that, it's to I'll just up the price, and I'll up the price in order to make it work for me to
They'll never book me at that price. Okay.
Exactly, but it makes it worth it for you. It makes it worth it for your family or your business in that sense. Because
you can justify it then, can't you?
Exactly. You can very much justify it because those kudos are in your bank account. And after that, you do what you want with that.
Sometimes as well, that's a really good... It's just a really good way of testing the market for you as well as a supplier. Just being able to go, I'm just going to try it. I don't need to book this job.
That's it.
So if you don't need to, charge more. See what happens.
Yeah.
If they don't book you, so what?
Yeah.
You've not lost anything.
Yeah. And you'll want to work hard for that because you've earned it, really, and you feel valued because, hey, you charged something that you actually thought that you couldn't actually get, and look at you now. So, yeah.
Shall we do another idea kind of conference in Marrakesh? Do you reckon? Should we do that? Or Iceland? Iceland's it's been done, hasn't it?
Yeah. Somewhere in Europe, I reckon. Let's start.
Do you know what? We asked earlier about people asking people to kind of tag like film photographers. You know what I really would like to know is, I know that we're talking about destination weddings here. I'd really like to know, well, firstly where people are listening to us, and also what they do.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah,
I'd like to just know what industry and what career people are in. Yeah. And whereabouts they're based. So if you can, just put a little story out. Yeah. Where you're listening to us from and what you do. We'd love to hear about it. Yeah. But yeah, are we nearing the end?
I think we're nearing the end. Yeah. I don't know.
Anything else that you want to add to that?
Sort of like looking through my notes, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's the point. We did say it at the beginning in some ways.
I've got down here, squeeze that lemon.
Exactly.
Is that what it is? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Squeeze that lemon. Go on then. Sorry, I stole that one from you.
And I stole that from Mark Procura, to be fair. And it's very much the notion that if you were to start today and want to get into a destination wedding, or let's say you have booked one or you want to book that one. No, let's say you've booked one. How would you approach it in terms of like capturing that wedding? And the whole idea is squeeze that lemon, like make the most of that wedding, literally to the every single drop, because you never know where your next wedding is going to come from. And if you want to sort of like maximize in terms of the content that you're going to get, maximize in terms of the SEO and the images that you will be able to create, squeeze that lemon.
I think you made a point earlier. We talked about you kind of taking photos for hotels and stuff. It's just thinking outside the box a little bit and just being a bit more creative with it, and just going, right, okay, well, I'm going to be in Tuscany for 3 or 4 days, shooting this wedding for a couple. We're doing a pre-wedding shoot, but is anybody in Tuscany that wants a shoot on the morning of the Friday, whatever, and we'll do a sunrise shoot? Yeah, just put it out there, and just see what comes back. Yeah, or, like you say, go and look at, a local area and go and, get the drone up and get some landscape shots, or, just make the most of that opportunity.
Squeeze that
bloody lemon.
I think that's a perfect way.
You can always put it, it's Margarita's lime, isn't it?
Margarita's lime, yes.
What can you make a lemon with?
So many things.
Gin, you can make like a gin bramble, couldn't you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Whiskey sour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's got me thinking.
No.
Right. I think that's about a wrap. Anything you want to finish with?
No. Once again, it's just thank you guys for listening to our ramblings. And yeah, this one has gone for a little while, but hopefully it provides a lot of value, especially for the ones that want to go into the destination wedding industry, really. And yeah, just squeeze that lemon. See you, fam.
Cheers.